What if you could crush that inner critic that causes you to doubt yourself and cause you to dabble, and instead just go for what you really want? That is what we're gonna dig into in today's expert interview. The woman I brought on, her story really inspired me. That is why I want you to meet her as well. So with that, help me welcome Lily Mizani.
Thank you, Joakim. Thank you for having me. And thank you for the invitation. I'm so excited to be here with you and your audience today.
Yeah, and thanks for taking the time to come on. It's good to see you. We met first time, yeah, at an event in the very beginning of the year, and I saw you again in August. So, and just talking to you and hearing your story really inspired me. So, for those that haven't met you, Lily, could you share a little bit about your background?
Sure. So my name is Lili Mizani. I am Iranian. I was born in Germany, and shortly after my birth, my mom would move with us. We're three kids to Iran. And that's where I attended the German school in Iran and came back to Germany at the age of 12. Ever since I'm in living in Germany, I've studied business administration. I'm a business psychologist. Yeah, you would call it a business psychologist. And I always worked in sales. I wanted to pay my tuition for university, so I started working in a call center at the age of 18. And looking back, not knowing that this would be so life defining for me and setting the basis for my career today. So fast forward, when I graduated from university, I started working in sales full time, became a top seller in my company, and then there was let's say some incidents that changed the course of my life. And if we have time, I'm happy to share that story. And then I started my own business, not knowing that it would become highly successful. So my business is called Hearthcore Sales. You can see it here, and it's all about heart and courage. And today I'm a sales trainer and coach, and also consulting big firms, also small firms, right? Like many startups, medium-sized companies, but also global companies like Telefonica or Microsoft and many more. And I have the privilege to teach and train those companies, many companies worldwide. And that's what I do with a lot of heart. So yeah, that's about me. And I'm 38 years old. You wouldn't see that, right? Most people like, Jesus Christ, what? You're 38. I'm like, yeah, I'm 38.
Yeah, it's like, did you get stuck at 18?
I got stuck. I'm 18 holding 18.
Fantastic, Lily. Hey, for you to get to where you are right now as an entrepreneur, like what's been the biggest thing you had to overcome to become the person you are right now?
Myself. I had to overcome my own conditioning. Like I grew up in Iran, and that was a totally different conditioning than here in Germany. And it was, when and let's put me aside 1 second. Like every human being gets conditioning based on their culture, based on the country they come, religion, and so on and so on. And so obviously me too, I had a lot of conditioning and many beliefs that were supporting me, and a hell lot of beliefs that would not support me. So the biggest thing I had to overcome was myself. And this is such a funny question, because a couple of days ago I said to myself, Jesus Christ, this year 2023 I doubled my sales. So what made me double my sales? And that came back to me going consistently to processing, doing my personal development work. And it's not a glittery and glamorous and funky kind of work, because it's most of the time it's really painful, because you really have to dig in deep and go to the places that you really don't want to go to. But that was, that was where basically my money was. If you, because I'm in sales, I think in money a lot of times, not all the time, but I had to overcome myself. And it was such a good investment to do my personal development work and, cry my eyes out. But that was worth it, right? I think I not only became a better human for myself and society, but I also became a more empathetic teacher and coach, I would say, and a better entrepreneur.
Yeah, and that's huge courage, being willing to sit down and embracing oneself with that curiosity, finding out, yeah, and asking those questions like, okay, why am I where I am, or what's really going on? So really envy you for that, because it requires that courage. I really found that. And in terms of courage, there is a story that I remember that you shared about your sales career. You said you started out in this call center, and eventually throughout the years, you got a position in which you faced massive resistance. And I remember a story of the woman in the reception, if I remember correctly, that gave you massive resistance. And in terms of having this courage, can you share the story of how you really like defy the odds and like having faith in yourself, having that courage to push on with really go for it when people, and even some people, yeah, express their desire to see you fail? Can you share that story and like what, how you really been able to tap into that courage and that determination that you have got?
Yep. So, I mean, I'm doing like I started in the call center when I was 18. Now I'm 38. So, over the past 20 years, I've done more than 16, 17,000 cold calls. And because I did for the past 14 years, I'm doing this full time sales, knocking at people's doors. I mean, corporate. I was doing like B2B sales. So, I was knocking at companies. Knocking their doors and trying to figure out like making appointments and selling the products, services that I was back then promoting. And you could imagine like I have faced a lot of resistance. Like I would say 80-90% of it was like really bad. And there are quite a few crazy situations, heavy, upsetting, belittling situations that I had, but the one that you're talking about was not quite the reception. I recall that it was my first day at my work, my past company where I got hired, and I was just sitting at my desk and just setting up some emails, the type of thing you would do on the first couple of days when you start in a new position. And then a woman approached me. She was my colleague, and she came like rushing and showing her hands to me and say, "Who are you?" I'm like, "Hey, I'm Lily Mizani. I'm the new sales rep, And then she said, "We've seen so many people come and go, and I'm not gonna remember your name." And like, yeah, da, 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 da. And you would have to pass your probation time before I remember your name. Later came out, she was with the company for like 10 plus years. And she was like the one like highly senior and successful, and always top seller. And that was the moment where I was just sitting there and being super angry. And I thought, "You're damn right, bitch. You don't have to remember my name. You will read my name in the next sales report." And I was like so aggravated. And, people say always being angry is not a good thing. I think angriness, being mad, being furious is a very good thing because it's energy, and you can turn that energy into courage. You can turn that energy into determination and go like, "Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to show you, bitch." And you can use that as a momentum and start running, and then have your first results, and then the results carry you through the rest. And so it was a highly defining a moment, because then it was the second I decided in this company, Jesus Christ, I will crush it. And it really triggered me because I come from a family where all women are very successful and very strong. So my grandma, she was actually a teacher, and she has studied at the first university in Tehran. She was the first woman actually studying there. And my mom, she's a dentist. She was also back then one of the few women who got accepted at university back then. So I grew up in a family with very strong women who always say, go for it. Like I would say most Iranian women are very strong because they would go like, yeah, we can do this. We have this go get this attitude. And so I grew up like this. And to me, it was like, what the hell is she talking about? Like me? Does she talk to me? I'm gonna go and get it. I'm gonna show you how stupid and silly you are. And that was like a very defining moment.
Wow, yeah. And I find it very inspiring, and that you really are able to, when someone kind of hits you that hard or want to hit you that hard, that you're able to channel that energy, as you said. Can you elaborate upon more? Because we started with you sharing, okay, the biggest obstacle you had to overcome is yourself, and replace like limiting beliefs or
Yeah.
limiting patterns with more empowering ones. What are some work you've done? Like, how have you been able to like condition yourself so that when the world hits you that hard, that you're able to like just reflect around and say, hey, I'm gonna show you.
Yeah, so the first thing is you have to realize it's you. So when I was back then working in sales, other people were succeeding in the company with the same products, with the same knowledge, with the same economy,
So like
with the
looking for,
same
yeah, looking
client
for like the
base.
proof. Like
Yeah,
let's see.
yeah. So they are succeeding. Why am I not succeeding? So the only difference here is me.
Hmm.
It's me. So to really understand, it all comes to me. I think that's 70-80% of the work, really. To really understand, it's up to me. I am the limiting factor.
Hmm.
So, because the products are the same, the branding is the same, the customer support is the same, the economy is the same, the inflation, the politics, all external factors are the same.
Hmm.
Only thing that's different is me. Okay, so I have to put that work in. And because I'm a business psychologist, I've been doing a lot of theses and theories at university, but something really cool happened back then. One of my friends that I've been studying with, he invited me over for dinner. And his back then longtime girlfriend, I think they're now married, had also her friend over there. And she said, my brother works in sales. And what she meant was network marketing.
Hmm.
And she said, come with me to an event. Oh, I cannot tell you, because she couldn't like explain to me what it was. She was like, come, let's go. And I was like, what does she want? But then she persuaded me and I went there. And I thought everyone is a monkey and crazy because they're all, yeah, jumping around, high-fiving and, being like crazy. But something triggered me and I kept on going to those events. And then they were preparing everyone for a huge event. Those events where you're always life-changing, it's life-changing, like typically network marketing. It's life-changing, it's life-changing. I was like, what are they talking about? Like, Jesus Christ. And then when I went to one of those big events, it was really life-changing because then suddenly like a woman comes on stage. She is like a housemaker and she goes like, yeah, I'm doing like 50K a month. I'm like, what is she talking about? And that was the start of a really journey of personal development. And by now, like, let me tell you one thing, I've tried literally everything. I've been working with shamans and hypnotherapy and NLP and all processing with the literally best world's best trainers. I've been doing everything, like you would imagine, like literally everything. I mean, I always make jokes. I do everything without like, some of them do like psychedelic stuff, to become more limitless. That's where my barrier is. Like I have two barriers. I don't get naked because that's just not my thing, right? And I don't take stuff. Like people go like, we did mushrooms. Like the other day I was seeing a woman, she's in a leadership position in a big company. She said, and her brother is in sales. And she was like, do you know like people do mushrooms to become limitless? I'm like, okay, tell me more about it. It's because I find it interesting to hear what is out there, but that just wouldn't be my thing. So I do hypnotherapy very regularly, meditation, and NLP and one-on-one, and coachings where I receive coaching and group coachings where I'm in the group. So that's what I do. And I do that a lot.
Wow,
A
yeah.
lot.
So you've been very consistent then with
Very.
in yourself and on this journey with ups and downs, like this woman coming to your desk saying, yeah, I won't remember your name, you won't succeed. And for you as well, over the years, how have you been able to, like you said, you're working, walking door to door, knocking, and you realize it's only you that are the differentiating factor. How have you been able to hold yourself accountable and really be able to be so consistent?
Yep. So that's a good question. I mean, when I was back then working in a company, obviously I had a head of sales and they gave us KPIs and numbers and we had to make the numbers. So you are being held accountable, whether you like it or not. It's because of the team. The other thing is I became on a different level accountable when I started my own business because there was nobody. Like there was nobody, but there was, as I said, there was like a huge incident in my last company where I was working where I quit. And then when I started my business, that's a whole story for itself, how and when and why I started. But that was one of the major challenges, like holding myself accountable. I would say looking back, life would hold me accountable and the options would hold me accountable. Because what are the options? I'm done with corporates. Honestly, like I have a lot of corporates in my client base and I really do love them and appreciate the work, but it's just not my thing. Like, so many people work in corporates, they say, I really respect that, but you know what? I would never ever start my own company because it's too much responsibility, work-life balance. You have to pay all your insurances yourself. And I'm happy to do a 9 to 5 job and it's fine, right? But to me, that exactly is not my thing. Like I couldn't report to a boss and then oh my God. So this is not an option. And
Mm.
then what are the other options? Like going back to corporate is not an option. Playing the lottery? I mean, how big are the chances that I win? Or I don't know, marry a multi-billionaire or millionaire. I think the age is done. Like I should have done that, considered that option in my 20s. I think it's too late now. So I have to become successful myself. And that's why I hold myself accountable. Yeah.
Yeah, and with you saying that, that reminds me of something you shared when we had a conversation, just you and me earlier, with mission first. Could you share what that means to you in terms of you really want to go and succeed with your business?
Yes. So the mission, I think, and the mission is the most important thing for every company. My mission is to educate people in terms of sales. It's such a hard thing if you don't have a system. Like doing a cold call, so many people resist. Like they do if it's like a maximum of 3 or 4 cold calls, and then they go, oh, they yelled at me, they shouted at me, they did this and that. And so I don't think I'm a born sales rep. So, I've been doing more than 16,000, 17,000 cold calls, and I teach people globally. I have a system, I have a script that converts, and that works. That works. But it was a hell of a ride, to be honest. It was a hell of a ride. It was a hell of a ride.
Yeah, I can relate. I've been doing cold calling myself, and that's quite a journey. It's very interesting when you get the wins, and you gotta be really resilient with yourself and really remember why you're doing that. So I love that what you shared there with, yeah, the mission first. And in terms of people, okay, after 4 calls, okay, that inner critic can show up, and we might start, am I that born sales rep, as you talked about? Can I succeed with this? And you start doubting. What's your best tip in order to shut
Best,
down, silence
yeah.
that inner critic?
Best tip is just go for it. Have a coach. People would listen, watch this, and say, "Of course, she's gonna say this." But here is the thing. For whatever I did, I always took a coach. Always. Personal development. Like I have myself 11 or 12 coaches. Communication, hypnotherapy, whatever you want to call it, like sales, communication, like even nutrition, even sports. Like I have one coach that only teaches me on swimming. She's coaching me one-on-one on swimming because I wanted to become a great swimmer. So here is the thing. If you want to figure it out yourself, fine, go for it. It took me 20 years to figure it out. Why wouldn't I take a shortcut if there was a shortcut? And why wouldn't I monetize my skills within 6 months rather than 6 years? So right now, we're talking about online marketing, right? I have hired a coach too, actually. So why would I try to figure it out? It would cost me so much time. And then that's not the problem. I would make so many mistakes that other people have been doing. So why not just jump on their best practice and then move on from there? If you want to become unstoppable, you have to have a mission that's way bigger than you. Otherwise, you would go, oh, today, you know what? I'm tired. Oh, today, I don't feel like that. Oh, you know what? I have headache. But if you have a mission, you know it's not about you, it's about them. And so you start going. You overcome yourself because it's not about you anymore. It's about other people and your mission to serve them.
Yeah, that's beautiful because I found that too. Yeah, we're often willing to do more for others than we're willing to do for ourselves.
100%.
Yeah. That aligns with this, doesn't it? It's
Yeah.
hardcore sales.
100%. And there is so many companies here in Germany that approach me every now and then. Like they ask me, like yesterday, actually, I had a new a company approaching me, a small startup saying, hey, we're doing this and that, but we cannot pay you the full price. Is there any chance that you would teach us? And I'm like, yeah, let's jump on a call. Because I just believe also not only in mission, I also believe in universe and karma. Like my whole company grew like this. Everyone is like, Jesus Christ, how did you grow your company and became like a serious provider of teaching and training over years in a male dominated world? Like 70%, 60, 70% of my customers are all like in IT. That's such a male dominated area industry. I mean, in Germany it is, right? So most of the managers I talk to are like, so, yeah, I mean, like all like alpha men. And how did you, they asked me as a woman, as a young woman, because I was in my, like, let's say 32, 33 when I started. How did you do this? It's because I went for my mission and I believed in the good. And karma and universe brings you back all the good that you do. It also brings you all the bad that you do, but it also brings all the good that you do. So choose wisely and do good, and it comes back to you.
Yeah, and that has really paid off for you, Lily. Hey,
100%.
conscious and respectful of your time. I got one more question for you. Maybe you have some final comments you want to add. I'm just curious, what does it mean to you to live a fulfilled life?
For me, live a fulfilled life. Let me first tell you one thing. Money belongs to that. Some people say money is not important. I say money is important because it takes a lot of pressure off your shoulder and it gives you more options. Whatever you want to eat, what house do you live in, or what holidays you go to. To me, a fulfilled life is like having happy relationships, which I have. And I've been working very hard on that too, to eliminate negative, toxic people and just focus on the people who have a good vibe and good energy, being constructive. Doesn't mean we don't have conflicts, we do, but we manage those respectfully. So having a fulfilled life to me is like having my good relationships, good friends that I can rely on, and have something like my company that I am able to really serve from my heart and really make a difference, have an impact in the area that I'm working, hopefully growing my impact, and also obviously having money to do the things that I want to do and and overall, I mean, that's the most important, is like health, because if you're not healthy, you cannot do all that stuff. So that's to me a fulfilled life.
Yeah. Otherwise, you got to put in maybe that mushroom. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not my thing. It's not my thing, that mushroom thing. I wouldn't take that. But hey, I mean, if people feel good about it, I mean, I don't know, go for it.
I love what you said with, yeah, I totally agree with money provides options. It takes off a lot of a burden, heavy weight, and with relationships, it's about the people we bring in and being conscious of, yeah, what are your standards in terms of who you want to work with? Some people can bring negative energy, and is it really worth it? If you want to make life beautiful, work with those things that are gonna give you the positive energy. So, Lily, I really appreciate all the insights you shared, starting with, yeah, it's about that inner work on ourselves, realizing that the circumstances, the external world is very much the same for many of us, yeah, especially when you look at the city where you live in, for example. So the differentiating factor is ourselves, and then being courageous to look into ourselves, doing the work there, and really know why we're doing this, having your mission. So yeah, Lily, I really appreciate you coming on. And
Thank you.
yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Joakim, and best wishes for your show. And thank you so much for your invitation. It was my pleasure to be here.
Yeah. And one final thing is, if people want to work with you, how can they find you, Lily?
On LinkedIn, it's Lily Mizani, and or you can just find me with Hearthcore Sales, and I have an email. You can just get on my website and get my contact details. So I'm happy to hear from you.
Fantastic. So yeah, if you want to elevate yourself in terms of sales, creating long-lasting impact, then check out Hardcore Sales with Lily Mizani. With that, Lily, make the rest of your day a great one.
Thank you.